Hey everyone, I just want to do a quick review on these radial bristle bits that I got off of Amazon. So these are supposed to be kind of an off-brand to the 3M, the expensive ones that you can get on Rio and other jewelry supply. So here we go. I just want to show you. So they come in a little bag, and they give you the mandrels in that bag. And if you look on the reviews, one of the main complaints is that they give you one less mandrel than there are actual grits of disc. So I don't know if that's like, the same thing as mismatching hot dogs to hot dog buns, and so you're always having to buy one more than you need, or why they do that. But that is the case, that they only give you 6 mandrels, but there are 7 different grits. There is no key to tell you what is what, so you actually have to go back on the listing, and I went ahead and did that, and I printed this out. So you can see I'm not using this one. This is the 80 grit. It's a dark green, and that's a little rough usually for my purposes anyway. So I don't have that reflected here. But you have your dark blue, which is your 120, your reddish brown, which is your 220. It's like a light periwinkle gray blue. That's 400. Your lavender, that's 600. Oops. Green, 1000, and white, which is actually more of like a gray. It's a little darker than the photo. That is 2000 grit. So I just realized that the mandrels are different lengths, supposedly. Yeah, weird. I don't know why they do that. Okay, let's see how they polish, because some of the other comments were saying something to the effect that the grits don't match, or that there is no difference in grit. So we'll see. I've got this old beat up piece of copper here that I have actually, where is it? Yeah, right here. I've put some intentional scratches. So we'll see what happens. Okay, so I'm not going to show the actual performance because I can't hold the camera and the metal and my Fordham chuck at the same time, but, well, not chuck, but handpiece. I just have the chuck in my hand. Anyway, so here's the thing. I think that it worked rather well, cleanly. I wasn't expecting it to take out these scratches, because the purpose was kind of to test to see how my deeper lines would hold up. I actually used a bit to make these. It's a little, I don't know if you can see that. There we go. That guy right there, to like draw lines into it. We want those lines to stay, because I would be engraving on purpose. So yeah, anyway, but it's got a nice brushed finish, and okay, so that's what that looks like. I'm starting with that dark blue 120 grit. So okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, I've finished my next polish with the red 220. My first impression here is that, yeah, the grit does change slightly. I got slightly smoother. It's hard to tell yet, but this is definitely just, there was a difference. I don't know how else to explain it. So yeah. Okay, next one. Okay, we are on the 3rd step in this polishing process with these. This is the Grit 400, kind of this blue-gray color. It's starting to get shinier. The scratches are getting, not scratches, but the polishing marks from the previous two are starting to get a little smaller. You can definitely still see kind of the wheel marks, you know, but that's kind of the deal with these guys. So it's actually starting to get more shiny. Again, I feel like there was definitely a grit increase. So, okay, next one. Okay, now here is the purple one. It's my favorite color. Grit 600. Very pleased with the results here. Let me show you. You can almost see like we're starting to pick up reflection. Not quite, you can still see that fine, almost satin finish that we're getting here. I decided to test out starting from 600. I have a feeling with most of my work and the way that I work, I do a lot of burnishing and hammering, and I keep my hammerheads polished, so those do a lot of the initial polishing. I may be actually starting with this one a lot, or I could see myself keeping this one in my chuck quite a bit. So, okay, on to the next one. Now here I've done the second to the last step with the bright green, which is supposed to be 1000 grit. I don't feel like there was as much of a change with this one from the purple to here, maybe slightly. But here, let me just show you the results. You know, you can still kind of see the wheel marks a little bit, and that may be actually just my misuse, I don't know. Here's the other spot over here. So again, I don't feel like there was as much of a change with this one, or maybe I just need to go a little longer and I'm not being patient. I'm doing about 15 seconds of polishing in the area per bit. So, well, let's try this last one, which is the white Grit 2000, and see what happens. So I've just finished with what is the highest grit available in the final step. Overall impression, again, not as much of a change as I had personally hoped for, but I also kind of wonder if this is just the nature of the radial bristle discs. You're always going to have kind of that brushed look. But I am pleased with the fact that when I went through these steps, and you can see it is like, it's shiny, it's not a mirror finish. It is very smooth, it's very soft. And I do like that it left my intentional engravings. I know they're pretty terrible, I need some practice. But, you know, my intention here would be to add detail to things like leaves, and then be able to kind of deburr that, because when you first do this with the bit, it's rather rough feeling. This feels very smooth and intentional. So I think what I want to do here is take some polishing compound with a cotton buff, and see if I can progress to a little bit more of a mirror finish. So I will do that and report back. Okay friends, I have used this ZAM, which is my chosen buffing compound. Obviously you can use whatever you want, but this is just what I bought and what I'm used to using. I use it on metal, stones, pretty much everything. I used this cotton buff here in here. So this is the final result. Now, I definitely got a mirror finish. Like, this is very highly reflective. See, like, I can see myself. There's my phone, my finger. But if you look, you can kind of see, how do I explain this? You can kind of see the brush marks from, I think, the earlier grits on this section here. It's not really prevalent here as much. So my suggestion, if you're going to be buffing out metal, probably the grits don't automatically just take out all of the final scratches. You're going to have to really look at what you're doing. So, you know, starting with this one with a 120 grit was probably a bit too rough. So I probably just added needless scratches is really the case here. And that's, I kind of expected that, but I did want to test every single one of these. So yeah, I probably won't be using this one much. As I said, I'll probably start with the 4 or 6 for most of my work, and kind of see how that goes. Overall impression. Now I will tell you, I have the expensive 3M radial discs. Are these as good? Probably not. So, you know, it's one of those, you get what you pay for, but will they work for my purposes? Yes, absolutely. The reason I bought these is we just moved and all of my drill bits are in a box somewhere that has disappeared. I think it's possibly in storage, but you know, rather than dig around for it and try to find it, I kind of wanted to get started here. I've got my bench all set up. I've been having a lot of fun. So I just kind of order these kind of on a whim quickly from Amazon, 15 bucks. I can definitely see myself using these. So I'm not really, overall, I'm not disappointed. I'm also very pleased with how well they held up. They did, I will say, they held up as good, just with the first use. I feel like the 3M ones are a little more delicate. These are kind of heavy duty, so I feel like they're gonna really work pretty well for overall deburring. So yeah, definitely not a bad purchase. I don't feel like I wasted money at all. So all right, guys, that's my review on these radial bristle discs from Amazon. They're made in China. Most things are, right? So, okay, until next time.